After the catastrophe we've had, like alcohol everywhere. It's like a bar in here. Bottles are flying. Okay.
But officially we're at bar height, so.
The table feels more at bar height, so,
Yeah,
so we're making progress. And we are live.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Episode.
Such an effort to get on today. It was such an effort. Oh my God.
I felt a little jinx there for a second.
Did you feel a little jinx there? Why'd you feel a little jinx?
I was like, oh, and then with the camera, I was like, oh, what's happening?
Oh man, I don't feel jinx, but I was like, oh shit. It was getting crazy. Okay, so let's get started, man.
Dude, yes.
It's been a busy week.
A busy 2 weeks?
Busy 2 weeks, yeah. God bless it. Who wants to have a job? Why do we want jobs and stuff?
I don't know, to live,
Responsibilities.
Right? Responsibilities.
Okay, you got something new, which you spilled half of it on the floor, but you got something really, really nice there. What's going on here, Jeanette? What's your drink tonight?
All right, so it was a take on, let's see, Sonic Cranberry Limeade is what I was thinking.
You like Sonic.
I do love Sonic dirty drinks. Deep Eddy Cranberry.
Oh, God, that's awesome.
Dude.
That sounds awesome.
Cranberry flavored vodka.
So would that be the drink to have if you're inviting a chick over? Say like,
maybe.
Yeah. So if I'm gonna have somebody over and be like, oh, I got the perfect drink for you.
You know, when I took a sip of the drink, it's actually very tasty. It tastes like what I was going for was a Sonic Cranberry Limeade, because I think they're delicious. They're tart.
Ah, so you got Sprite with the cranberry.
And then I actually have some lemonade, which is all in here.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's kind of like a lemonade type.
I broke into the Scotch's Pig's Nose. I was looking for a cheap Scotch, and I was like, dude, you know what? I was like, I just want to buy something cheap. And it was like a $30 bottle, and it was like this cheap one or the next cheap one. And this one just caught my, I don't know, I don't know if it's because it has a pig on there.
It looks definitely different.
It looks like it's something from like Kentucky. I don't know, from the middle of the country, but it's Scotch.
It looks hipster.
Right? And I'm not gonna lie, I haven't had it live on here, but man, I broke into the other day, and I thought this was the most amazing Scotch I'd had. It's like just easy drinking. It's good. You know what I mean? It's like just crazy good. And 2 thumbs way up on Pig's Nose. Like, it is legit Scotch.
Nice.
All right, well, we're gonna do this now.
All right.
Cheers. Let's kill it today. God bless it. If there's a heaven, it's made of Scotch.
This is exactly what I was hoping it would
My
be.
heaven is going to be clouds of Scotch. with sweet little raindrops of tequila.
I want to go there.
Sounds like a good place.
I don't even like Scotch, but yeah, I'm there.
He's like, sounds like a great place. It's a party.
I'm going to bathe in the vodka.
Yes.
Yes.
So we've been talking the last couple of days. What are we going to talk about? And so people that are watching this, they're like, oh, podcasting's easy, da 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 da, and like let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Episode 8, we made it to 8.
8, yes.
So you know what we didn't do for episode 8? We don't have headphones.
No, and I'm driving here, and I'm like, oh, I have my headphones in my drawer.
And I was driving past the Best Buy, and I was like, it's switch traffic. I'll go another day.
I think we jinxed ourselves from the last episode where we said
we were going to do it.
My word, you're like, I promise, episode 8, we're going to have the headphones.
I said it and I didn't visualize it.
Oh,
so
we need to manifest that.
We got to manifest that out. Yeah, we're gonna manifest that out.
To that.
Right. So So, and then like the time constraints, like thinking about like trying to go from work, trying to get here. You know what I mean? Like how challenging has it been this week? And most people. I feel for you because, get out of work, you pick up the kids, still got to make dinner, and, clean the house, get them ready for school. And that's just like your standard, family unit here in America. Whereas you and I, you know what I mean? Here I am, like, I get out of work, I go to the gym, I go work out, make a piece of steak, come home, put a movie on, whatever, right? Have a drink with Dario or with you and whatever. And, I mean, you, the same thing, right? You get out of work, get some bottles, go pick up some young college men, you know what I mean? Maybe a little later that night, go get a couple more college men. I don't know. I mean, but and maybe some nachos in between. I don't know.
Some nachos in between some college. It sounds terrible. I'm surprised I'm not drinking like shit malt liquor.
I know, right? Give me a Mickey.
God,
but
a Mickey.
It's like a challenge to make this happen, right?
Totally,
We're like, go. And then on top of that, like we've been messaging, it's like, what's going to be our topic this week?
We went clueless.
I know, we were like crickets. You know, the crickets we make during our interruptions, we had crickets. And, but it's funny because it's kind of a challenge because like here we are doing this thing. We want to do this thing where we have a positive note, a positive spin on things. And we're like, God, what are we going to do? And here we are, we're here now. Like, you know, it was a day of and it's like, what are we going to talk about? And I think that's probably what makes this challenging. You want to, if you have a theme, you try to keep on your theme, and trying to keep it fresh, right?
Try to keep it fresh, consistent.
Right.
In that note, because you definitely don't want to take a nosedive in the other direction.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's not who I am, and I know that's not who you
are.
Either,
I think if we talked about like the news, we can do it because there's like something in the news every day. COVID, Biden, Afghanistan's already done and over. I mean, for the most part, there's still stuff I'm sure going on. Australia with America with an agreement for nuclear subs. France is pissed off about that. So there's all sorts of stuff in the news. But I mean, we're kind of not a news show.
No, but I kind of like that question you raised earlier.
We'll get there in a minute.
Oh, okay.
So, got allergies.
Allergies.
I got allergies. So, I go long periods of time without even knowing that something's going on. And then one day I wake up and I can't breathe. And I have to go get the heavy duty stuff. And so I just took the heavy duty stuff this afternoon. And I actually am starting to clear up within the hour. It's like kicking in fast.
Oh, that's good.
It's good, but I'm still like, yeah, like underwater.
Yeah.
So I hopefully I don't get the sniffles on here and everybody's going to hear me blowing snot. Like, what's that? You get some static on your radio? No, that's Mark blowing his nose. That's Mark blowing his nose. How rude.
God, he's so
Right.
rude.
And with any luck, we're going to graduate you.
To what?
You'll no longer be the man maker. You'll be the made man.
The main man? The made man?
I don't know. Well, we're not going to go into personal details here, but dating life and all that. So you've gone from just shooting machine guns, taking names left and right, and you've got your target set on somebody maybe. Okay. We have to have an episode on dating.
We will, but not now.
No.
I kind of feel like
it's fresh.
It's fresh. It's new. It's exciting, and I don't really.
It's exciting.
Well, why would you consider to pursue someone or be with someone if it wasn't exciting? I mean,
did you ever hear this saying?
Huh?
It was something like along the lines of when you first meet somebody, if you put a penny in a jar for every time you had sex for that first year, and then after that first year you start taking pennies out, it would take you longer to take the pennies out than it took you to put them in, like when you first meet somebody, because the newness and the excitement. Did you ever hear that?
No, I've never heard that, but I'm gonna go get a piggy bank.
You're like, I'm gonna go get a bucket. I don't need a jar. I need a bucket. I need a really big bucket. But it's like an interesting because like relationships when they're new and all that, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, and I was dating this summer and I've gone through. I mean, dating isn't a terrible thing. I've gone through some. I met some really nice guys. I'm not gonna.
I can agree more. Like,
I don't bash people or anything like that. I mean, it's just either you connect or you don't, and I think that's really what it comes down. Yeah,
well, you know what? I think we need to have an episode on dating. That's all I'm going to say. I think we're going to have the big dating episode, and then what's going to end up happening after the big dating episode, we're going to end up like being a dating show. Please call me the Love Line. What would you do in this situation? Yeah, bro, just nothing. You lost already. You're in the friend zone. you're in the friend zone. You've already lost.
She wants me to. What would be a thing that would put you in the friend zone? Well, when she vomits, I hold her hair every time, but never get anywhere. So you're in the friend zone. That's happening to you.
So are you saying, in order to not be in the friend zone, based on your comment, if you're holding the hair in the bathroom,
you're acting
being
like
a gentleman,
you're acting like
kinda,
your best girlfriend.
Dude, getting that one little strand out of her face, you're kind of brushing her hair.
It's all vomit smelling, and if you're doing that every time.
And you're that guy holding the hair, you're like, it just smells like roses.
Oh, gosh.
So, friend zone.
Friend zone.
But if she's on her knees, and she has her head in the toilet, and you kind of just like throw a towel on her and smack her in the butt and be like, call me when you're done.
You're definitely not in the friend zone, but I would think that definitely is going to not last more than one night.
Gentlemen, you've heard it from Jeanette. Jeanette is throwing mixed signals right now. I don't know where she's taking this, but you can't win. Basically, what I'm hearing with Jeanette is you can't win. Yeah. If you try to do the nice thing, try to like hold the hair.
You throw a towel at her and smack her in the ass. You really think that you're gonna? I mean, you have to find the balance. I mean, you don't have to be your best girlfriend.
Okay.
Come on.
What's the balance? What's the balance?
I mean,
No, I don't. Apparently, I don't know.
Hand the towel. Don't just throw it at her.
Okay, gonna hand her the towel while her head's in the toilet.
Listen, if you're trying to molest her while she's vomiting, that's not gonna work. That's just like wow.
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 I don't even know if we can like. This is honestly its own topic.
Yeah, again, we're going to have the dating episode.
We'll have to have this at another time.
Do you know what?
And we should have a special guest so we can get like different opinions.
Let's pick like one of those pivotal numbers, and we're going to have the big dating episode. Like after like 25 or 50 or something like that.
Oh, like episode 15.
All right, 15 is going to be the dating episode.
Pretty
1-5.
1-5. Mark
sweet
my word
Jesus.
right now. Write it down.
I am already regretting this.
15.
I was like, I'm going to call him.
Will that be around Christmas?
I'm going to call. Maybe
next year?
Maybe next year. I'm going to call somebody in to fill in for me. I'm not feeling well that week. I feel like
by all means, we're not even experts here, so we'll have to have like some varying opinions. We'll have to bring people on and be like, what do you think about this?
That's when people
it's just going to be such a confusing episode.
That's when people that were listening, they're going to be like, yeah, no, I'm done. Click. Like, go to the next podcast.
These people have no idea.
They're like, wow, this one's bright. Yeah. I'm going to get like an angry phone call from my mother. Somebody said something about you were on the internet and da-da-da.
Right.
My mother's like an older lady. She goes, something about you being on the interweb. Were you driving fast? They were very upset with you.
Very upset.
No, Mom, it's not the interweb, and you don't drive on it.
How funny, the interweb. Were you driving fast on the interweb? Or were you being fast on the interweb?
I have blazing speeds of interweb speeds.
Interweb speeds.
Oh my God. Okay, episode 15 is the dating show.
Yes.
We'll see.
I'm serious. We should probably bring on like at least a couple of people.
Oh God, we need a bigger table. We can barely handle this table.
I know.
Oh my God, it gave me a headache already just thinking about it.
I mean, because it would be really funny.
It would be funny.
And because like I know like you have varying opinions. You have her opinion, his opinion, and then we're like somewhere in between. Like
feelings are hurt and friendships are broken after that episode.
Well. I think for the most part, I'm a pretty realistic person.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm like all...
In terms of dating or in terms of life?
In terms of life. So I would assume that would be dating as well, I feel like I'm pretty realistic.
You're pretty real? Okay,
yeah.
Okay. I guess I am too.
And I think that maybe with that, maybe there's a little bit of, I don't know.
Okay, I have a little bit of the romantic. And I believe if you're going to swing for the fences. Why not?
There you go.
You know my philosophy, in life for the last couple of years has been just swing for the fences on everything. Nothing's too big, nothing's small. Just go for it. And I think it's the same way with dating. I need to hit pause right now. I got a call I got to take right now. Okay. So yeah, we just had a quick interruption. We had a quick call come through, and it was one that I couldn't avoid. So yeah, I just got the call. Unfortunately, we try not to do that, but it happened.
Yeah,
so
it does happen.
Yeah, sometimes work happens. Yeah, sometimes it happens. What were we talking about? We're talking about dating.
Yeah, episode 15.
15's a dating
Officially.
one. Officially. 15. Right.
And then we still should do a ghost.
No. You know what we were just talking about? You were saying you were the realist.
Oh yes, I'm a realist.
You're a realist.
But
Yeah.
then you said something about swinging for the fences.
Swing for the fences.
Sometimes you just want to swing for the fences.
Here's the thing with that, and I've had this.
Have you had that conversation with me?
No, but what's funny is I've had these conversations a lot lately. It seems like sometimes when I think, I don't believe in coincidence, but I believe there's like a certain synchronicity in life, and sometimes when you have a message, maybe somebody needs that message at that point in your life, right?
I believe I'm starting to believe that people come into your life for a reason.
Right.
For whatever it is, and sometimes people think it's for your purpose, and sometimes it could be for their purpose. I truly believe that. Sometimes we just don't know.
All those young college men that came into your life for purpose.
What cracks me up is that I just let you roll with it. Just like, okay.
Okay, let's move along.
And if people really knew me, they'd be like, yeah, okay. But that's too funny. I'm just gonna let you roll with that.
Okay.
The problem is you want to know.
So okay, let's move along. We're gonna do a dating episode. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be real.
It's gonna be exciting.
I don't know. I'm already kind of nervous about it. Okay, so I was telling you a quote earlier.
Oh yes, you did. You were
Some
talking.
people,
I like that one.
Some people are poor, and some people are broke. And you asked me what it meant, and I said, "We'll talk about it." But I read it on Instagram.
Oh well, it's still there.
Instagram, I feel like is the new Facebook, right? Everybody's on Instagram. Everybody's getting on Instagram, and I'm probably on Instagram more now than I am on Facebook. But anyway, so some people are poor and some people are broke. What's the difference?
Oh, and I've thought about that.
Okay, so you've had about 30 minutes to think about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that? What do you think the difference between being poor and broke is? And guys, think about this real fast while the wheels are turning in Jeanette's head.
No, they've already turned.
Okay.
So this is what I think.
Tell me what you think.
Okay, so what I think is when you're poor, you don't have the money, nor have you ever had the money.
Okay.
Okay, and maybe you don't have the means to make the money.
But
if you're broke, you had the money, you have the means to make the money, but you've maybe overexhausted your funds, and you're in super debt, and you are broke.
Wow! And how long did it take you to think about that?
Like 2 minutes.
Really?
Yes.
But it's interesting, and that's actually spot on. People that are poor, they're living check to check, but they don't make a lot of money. They, maybe they have a minimum wage job, maybe. I don't know. For whatever reason, there's not a lot of income coming in, right?
Yeah.
Young kids, they're 18, working at McDonald's. They're poor, but, they make 10, 15 an hour, whatever minimum wage is or what have you. But people who are broke are people, like, quote unquote, that are successful. They could be making $100,000, $200,000.
They have the means.
They have the means, but they're still living check to check.
They're broke.
They're broke. It's so it's an interesting concept. So, and it just kind of struck a chord with me because we work our butts off. And everybody works their butts off. I don't know what a 2-income household's ever been like, so I don't know if that's wonderful. If it is, it sounds wonderful. 2 people making checks, but
wow,
yeah.
There is such a thing that exists out there.
Is it? Well, okay.
I've been single for too long, so
I was like, what's that 2-income household? Wait, whoa.
Mind blown.
Mind blown. Is like, and they're both successful? What?
What?
But let's take that a step back then. My father in the 70s, he was married to my mother. By that point, I don't know how long they've been together. For a while, crazy kids. But up until my parents had moved and they started their own business, my mother actually never worked. So my dad took care of her. It was like a single income household. And they had children. So how crazy is it? Like over the course of our lifetime, my lifetime, we've seen our parents go from the man goes to work, single income household, the house mortgage, the car loan, all that stuff. feed the kids, and now you have a society where both parents are working.
What's even cooler and even more mind-blowing...
Would you say it's cooler?
And no, well, hear me out.
I'm hearing you.
Okay,
Hey, I'm going to hear you.
So think about your situation, just what you just said, with your parents, single income household, having to support extra people. Now think about your situation, your single income household, having to support no one.
Yeah. Go on.
Honestly, it's a very good position to be in. I think that we've kind of, my situation's the same. I think I've come further than my parents did, and this is just me.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with getting married and having kids when you're younger. And I don't think it should be frowned upon. And I always think about guys that are in a situation where they meet the love of their life, they get married, they have their kid, and they're young. But it starts to focus you because you have an elevated responsibility. Don't you think?
Yeah, no, you're right. Absolutely.
And you have certain goals, whereas, like, I think being a single guy, you want to make money, you want to get that sports car, kind of travel a little bit. Your goals and your priorities are so different. Is one better than the other?
No, I don't think it's better than the other. I think that's I think one probably has, good value because you're trying to support your family. I mean, people are dependent on your income.
Right. So
the other one kind of like, now think about it, it just seems selfish. Oh, I'm going to Hawaii this year.
Yeah, I love Hawaii. I freaking hate you. I freaking hate you, dude. I freaking love Hawaii.
I know you do. And I forgot you did. I just was thinking of Hawaii just because I'm looking at your little guy. The one that we just broke earlier.
So, just a reference, right before we started, we thought we would raise our table here that we use.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
raise it?
We raised it. We raised it about 6 inches, and it was too high. We felt like little kids at a table.
Mm-hmm.
So then we dropped it about 4 inches, which worked fine. And mind you, I raised the table to 6 inches by myself, and I didn't drop a thing. I'm just going to throw that out there. I didn't drop a thing. And then Jeanette comes and helps me, and we raise it, or we drop it to 4 inches, and we adjust it. It's more stable now, and everything just flies off. I mean, there's vodka on the floor, the dog's on the floor, Mr. Kahuna guy's on the floor. It's like 2:00 in the morning in a bar in Juarez. There's just liquor and everything on the floor.
Bar.
It felt like a little bottles were flying.
You raise the table bar level. This is a feeling you get.
This is the real deal. This is the real deal.
Many drinks got spilled.
So this whole idea, I guess, of the difference between being poor and being broke, is just it was kind of an interesting idea because, as you become more successful, you move up the ladder. You should have more expendable money. Ideally, you should save, get a house, and all that. But how often does it happen that you move up the ladder, you make more money, you put in time, and the more you make, the more you spend?
I think that's true.
You burn a hole in your pocket.
I think that's true with a lot of. I think that's.
Why does that happen?
Honestly, and I don't know. This may not be the real answer, but I honestly hate the coined phrase, the American dream. I've always hated it.
Really? How come?
Well, okay, the American dream, I like it in a sense where you can become someone you want to be by working hard, and you could, the idea of making money out of nothing. I mean, even now, our histories, in our American history, you have like steel, you have all of these great things that happen.
Standard Oil.
You have all of these great things that have happened, but now we're in this day and age, you can make an idea a reality, or just like sell an idea, like, come on, look at what we're doing over here. But, people who are like influencers and stuff like that, like they are doing something.
It's funny that you're saying sell an idea. I was told once that what's the greatest American export?
You're talking about liquor?
No. The greatest American.
You pointed at that.
No.
Okay.
Did I say import? I meant export.
Oh,
the greatest American export. It's the idea of American freedom.
But okay, so
The
okay.
idea. It's funny that you're saying like people are making a living with ideas and they become what do you call it?
But this is where I think okay, those are movers.
Movers.
But this is where I think people are starting to get trapped. The American dream. You see it in commercials. You see it like buy your house, buy your dream house, buy your dream car, buy this dream life, and then people are making money and they're buying more than they can actually afford, and then they're putting everything.
Is that related to the fact that we're also connected on the internet, and everybody puts it on MySpace and then Facebook?
I think that might have something to do with it.
You start seeing what other people have in other parts of the country.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
And now you want to keep up with the Joneses. Because, you have, Southwest rural America. You have middle America. And then you have LA, San Francisco, New York, Chicago. And what people earn and had in different parts of the world created a different lifestyle.
But at the same time, too, though, people have to remember that what you're seeing on social media isn't always true. People are only showing you what they want you to see, and it's very exaggerated.
It's funny. Okay, so there was this young guy, and he was related to this girl I was dating. Okay. And whatever. He was a young guy, and he was always kind of annoying because he was young. I guess because he was young, and he always had these ideas and stuff. It's like, dude, just shut up. Just shut up and go to school. All right, go get some experience. You're like 17, going on 18. Yeah. You don't please just don't talk to me about the world and about responsibilities. So he's like, he's like, look at dude, I got all these posts about this picture I posted of me next to this he's like this really fly car. It just has fat rims and da da da. And he goes, and this chick just responded, is that your car? And he responded back something like, yeah, you like it? And wasn't it? We don't know who it was.
Yeah.
He just stood right there next to it, got a picture before somebody saw him. How often does that happen?
You know that probably happens more often
than
not.
Oh my gosh.
Like, more often than not.
Yeah.
And then, then the person who doesn't know better thinks like, wow, this person's at this age and he can buy this nice car. And
oh my.
And all of a sudden, like, I need a nice car. The thing, what I like about... So that's going back to... the coin phrase, the American dream. I hate that in a sense that, yes,
why do you hate that?
Good things can happen, but you can also buy into a trap. And you can kind of try to keep up with an appearance that isn't even real. That's why I've always...
So is that your very idealistic view, saying that the American dream isn't what you think it is?
I think that the American dream... If people are not careful, I think that it can be a trap.
Or the dream is more inflated than what you think it is.
I think it can be more inflated, definitely.
Interesting.
I think it can be. And I think that there is some... Honestly, there's some cool stuff happening. Okay, so...
Well, no. Okay, for me, the American dream.
Go ahead.
See, I'm very optimistic. Glass half full. Yeah. Your glass empty.
I'm more like the glass is full of urine.
No, I'm like
that's not water,
I'm like
that is
you're the glass is empty because you don't have a soul.
No, I'm realist. I'm telling you, the glass never had water. It was always dirty. It was always
Whoa! It was always dishwater in there.
It was always dishwater.
And me, I'm the realist that says, well, no, the glass is more than half full, and that dirty dishwater, that's really just bubbly champagne, bubbly.
And I'm just like, that is polluted. It's so polluted.
I believe in the American dream. I've always have, and it's probably more from if you work hard, you can get the dream.
And that's good.
But
it's good.
It's more from you working hard to work smart.
Yes.
It's definitely worked. It's definitely morphed in that sense, and it's always been like try to stay ahead. What is your competitor not doing? What is your neighbor not doing?
But
hustle.
Yeah, and because I know you.
But I've believed in the whole picture, too. Like the house, the spotted dog, the trips, Hawaii. Jeez.
You're all like, that's a personal attack. I'm all looking at this Hawaiian guy.
One Hawaiian guy that was probably listening to this, debating whether he was going to subscribe, and now he's gone because Jeanette said, I hate that place. It's just a bunch of dishwater.
I've never been. I think it'd be great.
You never want to come back.
Probably I would never. And Jeanette was never seen again.
Jeanette was never seen again. What are you doing podcasting from Hawaii? Shut up, Mark. But I believe in the American dream. And it's funny because we talk about the American dream and what's going on in Texas right now. Do you know what's going on in Texas?
You're talking about the abortion? There's that.
Okay, I'm not tying abortion into the American dream.
Are you really tying the abortion into this American
We are
dream?
not tying in abortion to the American dream.
Oh, I've been keeping up with that. So what are you talking about in Texas?
Dude, I just feel so good that I can actually research something and type while I'm talking to you. You know what I mean?
Are you talking about anti-abortion?
No. Does the name Del Rio, Texas ring a bell for you at all?
No.
No? So
I have not been keeping up with this then.
You have not. So there's this place called Del Rio. And it's on the Texas border, somewhere in Texas. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where exactly it is. It's down by, do you know where Laughlin Air Force Base in Amistad Village? It looks like it's kind of south. Yeah, it's kind of down there. I never heard of it.
Down south, like.
Not El Paso, Texas, but further south.
You're talking about like Brownsville and like.
I don't know if it's that south.
Like that sort of south, or.
I've had such internet issues all day. So, okay, if you go west, like towards California, from San Antonio, you know where Texas kind of comes up and does this thing? Mm-hmm. It's like right there where it comes up.
Let me see.
You see that? So, for those of you guys listening, for everybody actually, we're not looking, we're looking at a map of Texas.
Oh, bless you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, goodness.
Wow.
Oh,
did you get the tingles?
I got the tingles. I did get the tingles. I got the tingles. Oh my God.
You looked relieved. I was like, I tingles. Your reaction.
So it's on at the border town of Texas. It's kind of southeast of Big Bend National Park by Piedras Negras.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, Piedras Negras.
Piedras Negras.
Whoa. Okay. So there's like a collection of immigrants crossing the border, and they're underneath this bridge thing, and there's something like 80,000 immigrants there. A buddy of mine, he was told to go out there. He flies helicopters, and Homeland Security, and he just says it's crazy. There's just so many immigrants, they don't know what to do, and that's the whole thing with COVID right now, because the federal government's saying all federal employees have to be vaccinated, right? Mm-hmm. And then people are like, are you gonna make all the immigrants getting vaccinated? And I actually heard the who is it? The president's person that does all the speeches, like a publicist or something. There's always a person that does all the speeches for the president, answer questions and all that. Mm-hmm. A reporter said, "Are you going to have all the immigrants get vaccinated or get tested?" And she said, "No. Why would we? Immigrants don't come here to stay. They come here for a little while, they leave." And I was like, what? She said the immigrants don't have to be tested or vaccinated because they don't stay. They just come and go back.
That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
Right. Yeah, how crazy is that? I wish I remember her name was. I was reading last night, and I was watching the video, and I was like, obviously she's never been to the southern part of the United States. Immigrants, they come here to work.
Yeah, they come here,
they'll send money back if they can get their family across. They do, but going back to the point is, there's 80,000 immigrants in this little country or little town called Del Rey. They're like all under a bridge because it's like hot or something. I don't know the details of it, but they don't know what to do with all these immigrants because there's so many. Okay, so and this is probably a topic for another time because I've really gotten into this whole Latin American thing. I'm very fortunate. I've got friends all through Mexico, top to bottom. Mm-hmm. I've got friends in Colombia. I've got friends in Venezuela. Mm-hmm. I've got some friends in Brazil. So that's not the majority of the continent, but that's kind of a good stretch. So
yeah, it is.
An old great friend of mine was from Michoacan, Mexico. I love his story. He was a butcher. Mm-hmm. He hopped the train from Michoacan, which is, anybody that does not know, it's like way south in Mexico. Like Mexico, you see it on the map and it doesn't seem big.
It's very big.
It's very big, very long. Mm-hmm. So he hopped the train from Michoacan all the way up to the United States, hopped another train all the way to Kansas, learned to cut meat in the slaughterhouses as an immigrant worker, getting paid under the table. Eventually, I don't know. I don't know if it was like during the Reagan amnesty. I don't know when it all happened. Eventually, got his status, stayed here, worked legally and all that. But guy hopped a train all the way, like umpteen thousand miles on a train. Like, talk about taking a risk. You don't know what's going to happen. Don't know if you're going to get robbed. You're going to get killed. You can, somebody could kill you. You could fall off the train and die. It's like huge risk. Boom. Brought his family to the our state and our city. Lived the American dream. Was very proud of it. Mm-hmm. I used to love this guy as a butcher because all the guys go in their shirts. They put all their gear on and all that, and they get to work. He would come in. Always had a shirt and tie. He had like a sweater vest. Put on his they always wear those white coats over the butchers. Mm-hmm. He always wore. I remember just even the way he wore his hat. You could tell he had a certain amount of pride that I made it. I'm making a good living, and he knew it. Do you know what I mean? The American dream. And maybe the American dream is different for all of us based on our personal experiences.
And I think you're right. I think that for me,
you're just jaded. Your American dream, is probably like Pornhub with a bunch of college kids. I don't know. I'm spitballing, Jeanette. I'm just spitballing.
Jeez.
I don't know.
Jeez Louise, that is not the American dream. No, I think that for me, I just don't like. I don't like the fakeness.
If you live in the Valley in LA, it might be.
Oh my God! I never live there. Can you imagine? Oh my
God! No. I love LA.
That sounds terrible. No, but I think for me, when I think about that, and I think that is good. I think that there's a lot of that. I mean, because come on, I mean, with my family, and my history, I mean, yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
And yes, I do believe that hard work can get you further in life.
Right.
But I also, one of the things I'm still very aware of, that there's a fakeness that people get themselves in trouble. You know what I absolutely love?
What do you absolutely love, Jeanette?
I love like the tiny home movement where people are just like fed up with like having big mortgages and like all of a sudden just like really wanting
remember
to
like
downsize.
The 07 and 08, the mortgage bubble?
Downsize.
The whole economy crashed because of the securities, on mortgages and whatnot. People lost their houses. There was a variable interest rates going on. Nobody went to prison for this. Like, did you ever watch the what was the movie on the security, the big something? There was 2 movies on the mortgage crisis in 07, 08. And they actually was like, I thought they were pretty good. And
which movies? Now I have to.
I think they should be kind of required, required like viewing,
When you buy a home?
No, just like understanding like finances and all that. There was 2 movies that I thought were just phenomenal. One of them was with The Big Short.
Oh yes, I've seen
The Big Short was really good. I think it was Brad Pitt played like a crazy speculator that was just jaded at the whole system. Goes off and he's living in Ireland. There's 2 guys that are trying to make money, and who's the guy from The Office?
You're talking about like
the manager from The Office.
You're talking about Steve Carell?
Steve Carell was in it, and he plays a guy that saw the crash going on. Mm-hmm. And because Steve Carell's like a funny guy. He plays Brick. He plays plays that guy in The Office, and he's funny. Then in The Big Short, he plays this crazy, anxious, like finance guy, just kind of like jaded at the system. And he sees the bubble coming, and nobody will listen to him. Ryan Gosling's in it as a douchebag finance guy. A really good movie, and it should be one of those movies that's required viewing for everybody. Like, this is what happens.
Maybe I should have paid attention. Now you hooked me.
I'm
gonna have to rewatch that.
Okay, the next one is Margin Call.
Okay, I have definitely not seen
Margin Call. Blah blah blah. Paul Bettany, Kevin Spacey, Demi Moore, Zachary Quinto, and they do an amazing job in it. So they work like at a mega firm, a mega investment firm, right? And they do like massive layoffs, like riffs. They lay off like a whole floor of people, and one of the guys that was leaving gives the other guy like a jump drive, saying, "Be careful," and gives him the jump drive. And this other guy, he's like one of the lower execs and all that, analysts, whatever. And so he kind of punches in this USB drive and starts looking through the equations and the charts. And the guy that got fired, the manager that got fired, couldn't figure it out. Well, this other guy was like a rocket engineer, but he got into like trading and all that in the stock exchange for this company because there's a lot of money.
So that sounds like someone was embezzling.
No.
Okay.
So he figures out what's missing from the equation, and what he finds out is everything they're buying and selling is really overvalued. And once there's a margin call and everything's corrected, he realizes that the company will lose everything. And this is like the 24 hours before the massive sell-off starts happening that caused the bubble to crash in 07, 08.
Oh, this sounds really good.
It's called Margin Call.
Margin Call.
So if there's two movies I would really recommend, it's the Margin Call and The Big Short. Big Short came out in 2015. Margin Call came out in 2011, which is funny. So Margin Call is actually closer to when it really happened.
That is pretty cool.
It's really interesting.
So do you suspect, because we're talking about the tiny house movement, do you think that has something to do with people just being jaded? But
no, I think it's people trying to simplify their lives.
Because I like that idea. I think that, there probably is an awareness.
Bunch of crazy hipsters, and they're like, we don't need microwaves. We don't need this.
But it's all going just back down to basics, so they can live the life that they want to live. I think that there's a certain freedom with that. When you just,
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Right, absolutely, right?
Yes.
So, and like people with little houses or even little trailers, and they live out of that. Oh, did you hear about the couple that were traveling the country?
And one of them disappeared?
Yes, like the girlfriend,
I've been reading that.
What is their names?
Is it like Gabby?
Gabby something.
Patina or something weird like that.
Yes, Gabby Patina, and
then the boyfriend is like
he's a person of interest because he
Petito, Gabby Petito.
She disappeared like at one of the national forests.
Yes. And it's funny that not funny. That's not funny. Wait, but it's interesting that this happened. That's funny. No, don't get me wrong. This is not funny. But you had mentioned about. The book about people disappearing, right? And when I had read that, I'm like, ooh.
It's from A Van Life. The couple from A Van Life. You're right, Gabby Patino. She went missing, and they had a weird text message from her that the mom said that doesn't sound like her because she mentioned her grandfather by name. She goes, she never calls her grandfather like Stan or something like that. But they finally found her body. And now I don't know if the boyfriend's missing right now, but he's like a person of interest. But cute little couple, right?
Yeah.
They decide they're going to travel the country together, and you get them in a car alone together, and they realize something happened. Like they weren't clicking at all. Nothing like a road trip to really bring out people's bad habits.
You wait, like what? Being a serial killer or being a murderer, getting a little stabbing? I mean, who knows? What the heck?
I don't know. I was just reading something about the police have like a police cam. Police officers will have like little cams on them, and they stopped they were like in Utah, like around Moab, the Moab area, and they got stopped and because somebody called the police, said this couple fighting, and apparently like she was hitting him or something. Yeah, who knows?
Well, that's what the story is. That she was slapping him.
I mean, you know what? If you're not getting along, I'm not advocating you go and kill your significant other that you're with, because that's not right.
All right. Well, first of all, if you're not getting along, don't take a road trip where you're going to be hours on end with that person.
Maybe they were getting along beforehand.
Maybe.
So, because, before you get married, maybe you should get to know each other. You start taking trips together, start doing stuff. But maybe they've never done that, and they thought they had this great idea, and one thing led to another. I'm not going to make light of it, because I don't think you should make light of those kind of things. But
it's very sad, though.
Yeah, like a young gal, her life is snuffed out, and it's crazy, right? Yeah. So but I don't think that lifestyle is a result of the market crashing in 07, 08. I just think some people just want like the idea of simplifying their life. Why be tied up to a big house, big mortgage, when you can travel and do all this stuff? Why not, right? People say, let's do this. Let's be crazy. Let's be hipster. Let's get like an old fashioned trailer and go live from city to city, and we'll figure out how we're gonna make it. I think some people just like to do that. And now with modern media, with Instagram, you see people doing it with YouTube. They put their experiences, they put pictures. Like people like for Instagram, like they'll take like tons of pictures just to get that right picture in the golden hour. Do you know what the golden hour
is? Is it like when the lights all like?
It's when the hour before the sun sets, and the light is kind of almost like a glowing, like a goldish glow. Mm-hmm. And they call it the golden hour. And so they take all these pictures to try to get the right angle. You try to turn your hips just right because your butt pops out and everything. You know what I mean?
Oh no, it sounds like I totally don't know.
I'm not saying I may or may not have done that. But.
You're being very specific.
You know what? I'm gonna have more of this pig's nose. This guy, I love the Scotch. If you're watching, and you like Scotch, this pig nose is delicious. And not only that, it's cheap. And, and if anybody works for this, Scotch whiskey brewery, we would love a sponsor. And I just think your Scotch is amazing.
Wouldn't that be amazing if you actually
I get a call on the phone, like, hey, we saw your podcast, we track you down, and how much do you like our Scotch?
Like, I love it.
Is this the NSA? Are you listening to me? Is this a trick? Don't be messing with my emotions here.
Like, this better not be a trick. How sad
I will be upset.
So, any of our friends, please don't get any ideas.
I know, right? They get all these random prank calls.
That's
it's like,
so
you're crushing my hopes.
I hate you. Why would you
Oh
do
my
that?
God. No, it's a delicious Scotch. How's your drink?
I like it. I like the tartness of the cranberry.
Really?
Yes.
It's freaking
but
awesome.
I love.
You like girly drinks. You like foo-foo stuff.
Yeah, I guess I do.
Yeah, you do.
I almost went another direction, but I think I'll have to save it for the next one.
Well, you surprised me because,
I was going to go
people don't know this about Jeanette, but she can drink beer like a man. I was just going to say that way.
No, that's okay.
You bring us a stack of IPAs, I'll be a bloody mess by the end of it. And Jeanette's going to be like, can we get like more? Like twice as much?
Right, I can drink.
Like a man.
I can drink like a man.
Okay, so
where's our shot glass? Did that break?
No, you didn't bring it. You never bring it.
So is this gonna be like a dirty pour?
Just free ball it. Okay, so going off the theme, because we always have this theme about life, about just doing stuff, swing for the fences.
Yes, and I like that. I like that you're very optimistic like that, and I don't want people to think like, oh, wow, that girl's so pessimistic. No, I just.
So we should rename the show like the optimist and the jerk. The jerk.
Why do I have to be the jerk? I got uncomfortable in this chair. Sorry, guys. There we go. Okay. No, I think I'm more of a realist.
Right.
But there are some things, and I hope that this brings some value to some of my opinions when I talk about the power of positive thinking. We talked about manifesting.
Right.
So coming from more my realistic self, I truly believe in that. I truly believe.
Do you really?
I truly believe
I've known you since 1985, and I've never heard you once say anything about visualizations and manifestations.
I think that there is some power to it, and this is something I'm still exploring. Don't get me wrong; I've never always believed in it. This isn't something I've always. This is something that I've started thinking about this year, and I really feel like it does make a difference in life. Ooh, that looked like a little dirty.
You're gonna be calling Uber tonight. What it is. So.
But no, I think that there's some power to it, considering.
So check this out.
Okay, check it.
So the whole theme of just do it. I'm not saying be a yes man. I think you have to do stuff responsibly.
Yes.
But
I just said, does that make me a yes woman? Yes.
A yes woman. Yes.
Yes.
So. Last week, I just started doing some jiu-jitsu, boxing / MMA stuff.
I did that. That's cool, really?
I've got bruises where people just grab you.
Was that the conversation you had with that friend earlier? Are you guys doing that together, or is that Are you doing it on your own? Or
Well,
are you doing that through
we
a
had
friend?
a mutual friend. There's an older man, and he has his gym at his house.
Oh, I
He
met
trains
him.
people. Yeah, that one guy.
Yeah, he's
And
really cool.
I wasn't sure if I was in, if I would, from talking to him that night, I was like, I don't know what kind of trainer he'd be. I don't know anything about this guy.
He seems like hardcore.
Yeah.
He seems pretty legit.
So, but I've gone to one place off and on, just but I was like, I called up this other guy. I wanted to go check out his gym. Jumped in there.
That's a nice
Been doing some striking practice and doing some jujitsu.
So did you talk our other friend into doing it?
I think he's gonna go meet the other guy, but it's
Is
kind
that
of
what that conversation was earlier?
I think so.
Mm.
So we'll see where this journey goes.
I'm curious. You should.
It's fun. So in our classes, it's mainly like young guys from the teens all the way through their 20s. And there's been a small group of guys, and you get in there, and you're just like, you're able to hold these kids because you're a lot stronger than them and get them, but then they start using their technique, and I think the difference between of sparring against these guys that it forces them to use their technique on a guy like me that can use more of my weight and strength. But then weight and strength, just muscling your way through things, only gets you so far.
So now you're at the point where you're learning this technique as well.
I've learned like maybe one thing. The rest of the time I learned how to hold them and like try to not, try to get in guard and try not to, let them beat me. And for them, it's been pretty exciting. It's been pretty exciting. They're a good bunch. These kids, they've got good techniques, good moves, and it's exciting. Like when one of those kids turns me around and gets me like in a leg lock or something like that, and I was like, it just makes me laugh. Like, God, you got me.
That's legit. That's awesome.
It is legit, and got all my pads and everything, and just kind of throwing myself into it. I've been training about 3 times a week right now.
Yeah.
There might even be like a tournament that might have other beginners like me that I might be able to go against.
Oh man.
I'm all for it to try.
Oh man, I know, but it's scary. Not scary. Well, no, it is a little scary. You once you get it in your mind to accept a challenge, you'll just go into it and you'll be like,
no, this is fake, guy. I got knocked out. See, look, it just goes right back in.
This goes back down to the Victorian. What is it? The. Dang it! I can't even think.
Yeah, I haven't drank enough.
I know.
Dude.
The Baton
Death
Memorial,
March.
yes.
Yeah, I'll have to do that. So next year, the Baton
but
Death
then
March.
you did it like, oh yeah, I've never done it, and you totally went like hardcore, and then you're dying.
You die a little bit.
So,
There's a lot to take away from it.
So you're gonna come on this podcast all like, yeah, guys, I did this tournament, and yeah, like they wanted to put me in the beginners, but I decided no, I'm ready.
It's like
he
outweighed me by 50 pounds, and he said he's only been doing it like 10 years. Like it's only 10.
Only 10.
Like only
years,
10.
But I sized him up, and I was
It's like I can get this guy.
I can get this guy.
No, I've always had a broken leg. I've always had a full, a full leg cast on my leg. I mean, who doesn't have one?
So my bone splintered, but that's okay.
I was like, right, I'm only gonna have this limp the rest of my life, but it's a cool limp. It's like gangsta. But why not?
Oh my god.
Why not?
I know, and I know you've always been like that. It's like, well,
it surprises me though. I've always thought
you always push yourself.
I've always thought I knew how to strike a little bit. Like I figured if I got into a fight, I can hold my own. And I actually always thought my best asset in a fight is I could take a hit. And I can take more hits than my opponent.
And you got knocked the hell out the other day, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I've always figured.
You passed out, didn't you?
So we've been practicing, and we practice like just jabbing, just simple jabbing. And I work out every day.
Yeah.
And if I don't go to CrossFit, I go do the gym and I do like heavy lifts on like isolated parts, like chest. I'll do it on Sundays. I usually do something like my back or my shoulders to strengthen those areas out. Then during the week I go to CrossFit, and so I'm always staying active. I'm like, I got this. My cardio's good and everything, and I get there and we're just doing stuff. We're just doing simple jabs, simple leg work, and it just kicks my ass. Like my shoulders are just like on fire,
something that you're
and I'm just like I'm like trying to hold my arms up, and my arms are just like it's like such a struggle just to keep them up.
That's crazy.
It's cool though.
That is cool though.
But it sucks.
Yeah.
So it's a cool experience, and on Instagram I know there's a couple of my friends that do that, which is kind of interesting, and but it's just one of those So like here's the thing with fighting. Fighting is definitely a personal thing, and we talk about like war and technology and all that, but the fundamentals of fighting like goes back thousands of years is you and your opponent in front of you.
You even see that, yeah, and then I think we've talked about that.
It is.
And you see that sort of technique happening with like MMA, like
right. Well, it comes down to like self-discipline and pushing yourself. Do you know what I mean? Because you're only limited by how far you're willing to push yourself and how far you're willing to go.
That's a really good way of looking at it.
You
limit yourself as to how far
I play
go.
rugby. Mm-hmm. I know my part in rugby, and if you guys don't know what rugby is, I love rugby. It's just completely different, and we could talk about rugby. It's funny. You actually went to college. You knew a lot of rugby guys. You hung out with a lot of rugby guys.
I did.
Rugby guys is a good atmosphere. It's an intense sport. It's exciting. It's nonstop.
And I love the whole sport about it. Like with rugby, I like the fact that it was very like, it was honestly very exciting to watch because
it's exciting to watch.
It is. It's almost like watching a fight, but in a weird. You're not watching a fight, but you guys are taking hits.
Right.
And it's like it's brutal.
So.
And you can't just.
My position, if you play rugby, I usually play one of the props or a hooker. So that's like the front line. And the scrum, when you're scrumming down, you're fighting for the ball. It's very intense to be right there in the middle with two teams pushing each other. And I've always played that, and I love it. Mm-hmm. And I always knew my part in rugby. My part was to get the ball, go into contact. I'm going to get tackled. I'm going to get smashed. Make sure we get the ball back. And I knew that if I did my job well enough, it would set up the rest of the team, the back line, which is like the backs. They would get the ball out there, and there's like fast guys that they'd go score the touchdown. I knew my part.
Yeah.
And I love rugby. I know my part. Whereas when it comes down to doing something like wrestling or jiu-jitsu, there's no one else you're counting on.
It's only you.
It's only you. And how hard are you willing to train? What are you doing to stay fit? I mean, these kids, like one kid was talking about cutting weight, and he's like, he still got 6 pounds to go. And he's like, I have to be disciplined because I've got to do the weigh-in, can't drink water, can't do this, can't do that. And it's like, man, it takes dedication. And then when the day of the match comes, it's that one-on-one combat. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Who prepared the most and who's willing to go the distance? It's very personal. It's very exciting, and that really appeals to me. And again, we'll see. We'll see how far it goes. I'm not saying I'm going to go pro because I'm definitely past that stage. Mm-hmm. I mean,
but it's very cool though.
I was like, if I did go pro, but
and just kind of an FYI, this cranberry vodka. The fact that I forgot, the Baton Memorial Death March. I'm like, dang, is that the vodka talking?
But it's funny because even when you do a marathon, you're still on your own. And it's a very personal thing.
Well, for you, I mean, that was kind of like your own personal victory, the fact that you can do it.
Oh, now the next step is, can I do it a little bit better? And it hurts, and it sucks, and it hurts. You're in the sun all day. And so, I mean, there are things to it, like when you think about it. So, so I've coached a club rugby team for like U19, which is like high school level. Mm-hmm. And we had a lot of wrestlers. And I even played with this guy in college, and he was a phenomenal rugby player, and he was a wrestler. And it's funny because you could argue this. I know everybody has their opinion about all sports. But what I think makes the best athlete for any other sport are wrestlers.
Why do you say that?
There's just something about knowing your limits and having a command over your body. I was always clumsy. If somebody pushed me, I'd fall over. You know what I mean? But with wrestling, you're always looking to see what they're going to do, to counter their move. You can kind of feel what they're doing, and you have to know yourself well enough to know how to counter stuff. So you have a very strong command of your body. Mm-hmm. And then wrestlers are extremely fit. Mm-hmm. And they are, because again, trying to hold somebody like, just hold them like this, and they're pushing and you're just holding, you're just burning just to hold. just to try to hold them. It burns. So you're in great shape, and it's funny because I've had this conversation with quite a few people, and they all agree. Like a lot of the best football players have a wrestling background. A lot of basketball players that are in wrestling make great basketball players. Football, rugby. I mean, I don't know. I don't know any baseball players myself, but can't be that much different. But it's like something about being a wrestler just makes you a terrific athlete in other sports. I mean, be a terrific wrestler too, in wrestling. And it's a wonder, like, you see wrestling being such a big sport across, like in other countries. Like the United States, it's not that big no more. But, you know, in other countries, in Europe, in Asia, and whatnot, it's like still, it's a very masculine sport. And it's very dominant because you're dominating your opponent. And then you go back through the ages. What's one of the first sports in the very first Olympics back in the Greek days? Wrestling. And again, they didn't have mats back then. They were getting guys in sand pits, and bam, they drop them on sand.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how much that hurts.
So are you thinking that with like MMA, do you feel like that's similar to like, because I mean, you're talking about like, because you do CrossFit,
so
MMA you work out,
is mixed martial arts. So you have Greco style wrestling, which you're just wrestling. You're just wrestling. You're trying to get movements, pins, takedowns, or whatnot. When you add the MMA with the mixed martial arts, suddenly you have people that have the kicking, the punching. So like in wrestling, if you're just grappling somebody, you're on the ground and you're trying to just hold them or like get points.
Yeah.
With MMA, like when you're on the ground with somebody, and if they have the opportunity, they'll start throwing their elbow in your face, or they'll just start doing the ground and pound.
Yeah.
You don't see that with like jiu-jitsu, with judo, with Greco style wrestling. So that's why it's mixed martial arts.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you. Oh my.
The tingles.
Oh.
I'm honestly thinking that's a Scotch now.
That's a Scotch tingle.
Dang, the Scotch tingles.
Oh my.
I often want to achieve the vodka tingles, but that never happens.
But yeah, it's kind of really interesting though, right?
Yeah, that is interesting. I've never heard that.
And it's interesting to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's exciting to watch.
It also gives me a different perspective. Like when you do watch it, like kind of gives you like, oh, I don't know, maybe help me understand it a little bit more.
I think the level of dedication to learn multiple art forms and put it all together to go one-on-one on a combat sport that, those guys take hard hits.
So what was your interest with all of this and why you wanted to do it? This has become an interview for you now.
Well, let me tell you
no, but seriously.
Going back to 1985.
Well, when I was like a child, when I was like 2 years old.
I don't know. It's just one of the things I've always wanted to try.
Cool.
And if you're going to do it, you throw yourself into it. I still wear my rugby shorts.
I like that you said that because, it kind of goes with everything that we've talked about.
Right.
Life is too short. You're interested in doing it. Why the hell not?
So, okay, so I'm not married.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that component of my life to worry about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I had this interesting conversation with an instructor, and I was like, how many guys want to do something like that?
But never do.
But they don't do. Maybe they think their wife won't be happy with them, or something like that. And so it's like,
I'd like to meet these wives who wouldn't be happy with the.
Or maybe they're afraid to have that talk with their wife because their wife's gonna be like, "Well, you have to work. We're never gonna see you." Da da da. And so it's funny because I tend to think like, if you're a man and you want to do something like this, and you are in a serious relationship, wife, kid, or something, you need to approach it in a way that you make them a part of it too.
Mm-hmm.
That you're not trying to exclude your family from it. And I think that's like part of the whole midlife crisis is like they don't want their family to be a part of what they're doing. Suddenly they're going to go hang out with the buddies at the bar, exclude their family from it. Suddenly they're going to go buy a motorcycle. It's like, why'd you do that? Oh, I just wanted to cruise a bike. Whereas you could sit down and be like, honey, I really wanted to do this. I've never done it.
And just kind of merge the two and
right, yeah,
make it an adventure.
Maybe the wife wants to go. There's a lot of spouses, like I think like 10th Planet. I have a friend that goes to 10th Planet, or an acquaintance I know, and I know his wife goes and she takes the kids. So they all go. Maybe maybe you do something where they go and watch you. I don't know, but you have to
That's
have
cool.
you have to have those conversations with your loved ones and be like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be crazy. I just want to do something with my life. I want to do something for my health, and I want to try something different.
Just want to challenge yourself. I mean,
Right.
really, at the end of the day, it's like, I want to try something. I want to challenge myself. I want to kind of, be outside my comfort zone. I think there's nothing wrong with that.
And do you ever really grow if you don't put yourself outside of your comfort zone?
I think you have to do sometimes you have to do the things that scare you.
Yeah.
And I think that if it doesn't scare you a little, then you're not living.
Then you're not living. Absolutely. And I think, life's a scary thing.
Yeah.
Because how easily could you have a car accident?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was coming back from El Paso, Texas this weekend. Interstate was shut down. I was like, the interstate shut down. We get off on the side access road. And for a second, I'm kind of annoyed because all the stop signs to get back on the interstate down the road. But then as we pass like an exit to get ready to get back in or going onto an on-ramp, I catch a glimpse of an accident on the interstate. And like a pickup truck hits a car. And like the back end of the car is completely gone. Like all the way to the passenger side. It is gone.
I always hate passing by stuff like that.
And so
you start to think about like who was in there
and there's a reason they shut the interstate down.
Yeah.
It's just not a car accident. They'll kind of divert traffic, but when it's like next level accident,
something
bad
happened. Yeah.
So
something serious happened.
So it kind of I kind of took it back. It's like, oh, why am I being so upset about this? People are in a bad situation. I had to like kind of just like, like goose faba. But the point being is there's so many dangerous things in life. You can have a heart attack tomorrow. You can have an aneurysm. You can be in a car accident.
We could have slipped on the ice earlier.
Remember that one time there was like an active shooter at the Walmart, like in El Paso, Texas?
That was terrible.
And it's like, that's terrible. But the point being is like anything can happen in life. And so doing like a fighting sport to try to do something new in a controlled environment is like the lesser of all evils. It really is.
Yeah.
Jumping from a plane might be a little bit more riskier. But again, when you're driving down the interstate, when was the last time you were in an accident and you thought, oh, I'm going to go get in an accident today? It just happened.
Yeah.
Right? So kind of the same thing. But I think if you're like an individual with a family and a wife and all that, have those conversations. Hey, sweetie, I really want to do this. You know what I mean? Maybe we can do it together. I mean, you've got to be willing to bring your partner into it so she feels like they're a part of it. Don't you think?
No, I absolutely agree. I think that's great.
Yeah, and I think, and maybe it's a cultural thing down here where people have a hard time with that. I don't know.
No, I think that's great, honestly. I think a lot of people need to hear that. I think that there has to be a balance in life. But at the end of the day, I think really what it comes down to is if you're not doing things that make you happy. I'm not saying be selfish, don't include your wife or husband or,
Your wife?
My wife.
Your wife.
My wife and husband.
Whoa. Whoa.
But, wife, husband, whatever. No, I think that you have to have a balance, but at the same time, though, I think that you have to have adventures. I think you have to have adventures together. I think you should have similar interests, but at the same time, I think that what gets kind of boring or maybe what makes relationships fail sometimes is that people don't stay true and they have nothing at the end of the day to come together at the end of the day and say, hey, I created another painting today and or people don't maintain their friendships. And we've had this conversation about like a balance.
Yeah.
You have to have that work balance, your love balance, your social balance.
Staying active.
I think you can have, bring in your partner. I like that. Bring in your partner.
If I want to start cruising a moped today, I'm gonna get my partner a moped. We're gonna start our own moped game.
That would be cool, right?
Right?
Mopeds in Las Cruces, start a club.
Start a club, the moped club. Like funny little moped helmets.
Hey, if you're interested in like dogs and you want to have a Dalmatian, start a Dalmatian dog club.
Oh my God, who are you? God, I can't talk to you. You're just not serious.
I'm not serious.
You just know how to hurt me. So, every time, it just never fails.
I know. I'm so sorry. And then I totally took a job at Hawaii without even thinking about
Poor
it.
Hawaiian people.
That was terrible, friend.
I love Hawaii.
I know.
And you know what?
And honestly, I would love to go to
If
Hawaii.
anybody wants to do something with their spouse and do something,
Go to Hawaii. That sounds awesome. That sounds
beautiful.
amazing, honestly.
I think it's more affordable than than you think it is. Airbnb. Wow, I've stayed at beautiful places. I've been to 3 of the islands now. I want to go to Big Island, but I don't know. I love the islands I went to. It's just such a laid back place. People are cool. It's just cool. It's just really cool, and I think if you're looking for that excitement, adventure, go do it.
I think so too. I think you should, and I think life is short.
Save money and go do it.
Yeah.
So,
but let's maybe not go broke.
Whoa! Somebody's
Wait,
digging deep.
no. I'm wrapping it up to what was it like? What the?
Oh, I thought you were making like a segue there.
No. I'm saying like how do we wrap that back up to like what's the difference between being poor or being broke?
I can make an analogy about being
Okay.
like what does being poor mean? Is it just financial, or is that poor with experiences?
Or is that just mental poorness?
Mental poorness.
I have no idea what that is.
Honestly,
that could be a thing.
Honestly, I do think financially you have to make plans, and you have to prepare for. I think you have to think ahead financially. You don't want to be broke all the time. You have, if you have a family, you want something in your life, you have to make a plan. You have to set goals. You have to visualize it. You have to make a budget.
Absolutely agree with that. I absolutely believe that if you're going to reach anything, your wants and goals
it's
in
the
life,
only way to do it.
You have to have a plan to do it.
Right, you have to.
You can't just be like, oh, I want it to happen, and then nothing happens.
Right.
Well, you shouldn't be surprised if nothing happens because there was no plan to do it.
Hopes and wishes doesn't buy you a car. Hopes and wishes doesn't put fuel in your vehicle. You know what I mean?
No, and this is where if you're going to talking about manifestation, there has to still be a plan for that. You have to change your mindset.
Right.
And I think we talked about that. When you manifest something, you don't just manifest it and like it's not a genie wish.
Like I know people that have like a dream board, and they'll put pictures on the dream board of the things they want. But did you set the goals? Did you make a plan? And did you do it? And what's funny about writing goals down, I've done this. I've written goals down. But sometimes when you write them and you put them up somewhere, you forget to revisit that. And you forget to recalibrate. Like revisit it. Okay, where was I last month? Where am I going? You know what I mean?
What would you recommend for that?
Well, I think there's a lot.
I'm going to write on the wall with Sharpie. Do you think that would help?
A beautiful mind right out the window.
That's actually brilliant. Too, like
some
in
people,
a dry erase.
Some people write on mirrors, so like the bathroom mirror, so they see it all the time.
I actually have done that on my mirror.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did it work for you?
No, because I just wanted to clean it up. It looks sloppy.
No, me and my buddy, we were at Starbucks, and this is like a long time ago. Well, 15 years ago. God, it seems like a long time. And we were at Starbucks, and way back then, Starbucks had like merchandise every now and then, like books or CDs.
If they had a freaking dry erase freaking window.
But no.
We should totally.
We'll do it. Don't say your idea, because if you share your idea, somebody else is going to.
I know. Never mind.
I'm going to type it in there. Somebody's probably already done it. No. They had this little green book, very simple, very, very quaint book, but very thin. But it was your 5-year book.
A 5-year book.
You write where you're at now, where you want to be in life. You list the people that have the potential to help you get there. You make a plan, and in the book, as you're writing all these steps, it gives you examples. Like, so-and-so was at this age when they did this. This is what they did. So it was also a very motivating book.
Oh.
So it was like a really good book. It was like a 5-year book.
That's cool.
And that's one of the first things that really kind of got me thinking about life. Like...
Well, they always ask that. Like, well, it's like... You go back and you revisit, and they do your annual eval. Where do you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years and stuff like that? And I think a lot of people when they answer these questions, they don't really think about they're like, well, in general,
I think when
But
you,
I like,
I think when
I
you,
like that you said that there's actually like a book for that for people
so
to actually
when
think
you,
ahead.
I'll have to look for it
That's kind of
online
cool.
and be able to like to link it for people.
But there is some value in actually thinking that far ahead.
Right. Well, yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and I think being specific also. I think you have to be specific. If you're gonna say like, I just want to be doing better, what does that mean?
What does that mean, being better?
Right.
Being better at what? Drinking water?
Right. Be specific.
No idea.
Be specific about your goals.
Yeah.
And so I had read this thing that said like successful people, they wake up early in the morning, and then there's some successful people that they do the thing where they meditate for the first 5-10 minutes in their day.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. It's like it kind of helps you focus your day, helps you really just clear your mind, think about what you have to get done, start the day with a clear plate.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like to I love going for a run in the morning. Going for a run in the morning or doing a row in the morning. Again, it's discipline. You're starting the day right. You have energy and all that. So I think there's a bunch of little things you can do every day. You know, the habits you have in the morning sets you up for the rest of your day.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, and we've talked about how short life is, how many days you have in your life.
Mm-hmm.
But you think about it, you sleep 8 hours a day, roughly, and there's 24 hours a day. So a third of your life is already spent sleeping. So why wouldn't you make the other 2/3 the best part of, the best you can? You know, you've had these days where you're like, I didn't get anything done today, and it's like such a waste of a day.
Actually, I kind of felt like that today, but when I started thinking back about what exactly it was that I did do,
right,
I did a lot. I think what I really meant to say is that I didn't do enough on what I wanted to do that I thought would have been more, more effective with my time. But
right.
in the big scheme of things, that's not necessarily true. I took care of something that I needed to take care of in my household. And then about 5 hours of the day, I took care of something that was also very important in the business that we're doing.
Right.
And I think that I forget that.
Right.
Because I think you have to do some of these other
Sure.
things in your job. Some
You
of
have
these
to.
building relations. But yeah, maybe when I think back, I have to give myself a break, and I have to cut myself a break and say that, no, what I did really was valuable. It was valuable in actually a bigger sense, not
Right.
the short picture.
Not
the shorter term.
What do we always talk about when you make your list of to-dos every day? Remember the MITs?
Mm-hmm.
Identifying the most important things that, you might have a list of things you have to do, and it might be 10, 15 things, but within all the list of everything that can be done, that you need to do, there's like probably a core group of things, 3, 4, 5 things that you have to do today. And they're usually the hardest things on your list. So why not get the hardest things on your list done first? Get them done, get them out of the way, because they're the most important things. You identify the most important things you have to do of the day, and then the rest of the day you kind of work on your list and what needs to get done. And if the rest of your list doesn't get done, that's fine, because you have the next day to do it, but at least you got the most important ones that are usually the hardest ones to do.
I heard the best analogy the other day, and it was actually from
Jeanette,
one of the managers.
Can you tell me the best analogy?
I loved it. Honestly, I really loved it. We had a meeting talking about things that quoting quotes that inspire us.
Oh, I know who led this meeting.
Clearly. Because we have a lot of mutual friends and acquaintances.
Oh my goodness!
So I'm not even going to name names, but another manager.
That sounds very
not the one you think.
That's very mafioso. Let's name names.
I know, right? Let's just go ahead and put a mark on someone's back.
Whoa!
No, just kidding. But no. This is actually very good. She had said something about a manager had told her once, and maybe basically, one of the things that I liked is that just go into the day. It's kind of cheesy, but eat your frog.
Eat your frog. I've heard that.
And I loved it. Eat your frog. I mean, you're going to do the thing that you hate the most.
Yeah.
But just do it first. And I like that because you said exactly that.
Right.
But I like this in a way because it's kind of fun. It's like...
Eat your frog.
Eat your frog.
Ugh.
So did you eat your frog? Like, eat your frog.
Ugh.
First thing. I know, it does, because no one wants to eat that.
But it's a good advice, though.
It's a good
Eat
advice.
your frog.
Eat your frog.
Eat your frog. And, when you make a list of goals, whether it be for today or a 5-year plan,
Mm-hmm.
there is always a list of frogs on there that you have to tackle.
You have to eat your frog. And honestly, if you get into the point or into the habit of eating your frog, then that's great.
That just sounds gross, Jeanette.
I know, but you know what? Maybe I can chase it with some tequila.
Oh
no
my
one
God.
ever said that, but
Oh my God,
maybe.
you're too much. That's funny. I think there's a good takeaway from that, and
Yeah,
anybody listening.
there's a good takeaway.
There is a good takeaway. Definitely, you could be in college, you could be a professional, you could be in any line of work, really.
Mm-hmm.
But if you identify what your frog is, you set your goals, make a list of the things you have to do, but identify the ones you have to do right now, and don't be afraid to tackle it. And my thing was, make a decision, do something, and make a decision. And I never feel like there's a bad decision. I always said there's not a bad decision. The worst thing you can do is not anything at all.
Well,
at least
inactivity is like...
in the terms of a bad decision, at least you can learn from it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, obviously that didn't work. My bad. Oops. But you learn from it. And then you evolve. And then you learn how to try to re-implement or do whatever it is you're trying to do to succeed. But, it's like that quote about, who's the light bulb guy?
The what?
The light bulb guy.
You're talking about the guy who
Edison.
Edison? Invented the light bulb?
Yeah,
Okay.
right. So, see, I just feel so tech savvy.
I'm so happy because whatever's happening with this cranberry vodka, I can't remember. I'm like, what the hell?
It's like it's all coming back. You said you can't recover, or
it's like I'm very oh, that's weird.
So
I think that has a lot to do with fatigue too, though. Pretty tired.
So it just, this quote says, there's a couple of different variations of this. Let me see if I can. Here we go. This one says, of the 200 light bulbs that didn't work, every failure told me something that I was able to incorporate into the next attempt. There's another one. When a reporter asked, how did it feel to fail 1,000 times? Edison replied, I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was invented in 1,000 steps. Great success is built on failure, frustration, and even catastrophe.
I really like that.
But, yeah, it is, right?
Yeah, it's very inspiring.
Because if it fails the first time, it's not a failure. You're learning from those failures. And that's what makes you stronger, and that's what makes you successful, right?
I think that when you stop trying,
that's when you fail. That's it.
That's
right
your
there.
ultimate. That's you successfully failed.
Right. But and it's hard. Let's be honest. It's hard when things don't work out. Things don't work the way you do. You're like, and you get frustrated, and you have to take a step back, take a breath, and be like, okay, why didn't it work? And you really have to think about it and think, okay, this is what I'm going to do next, and then you try again. And you try again. I love that Rocky Balboa quote. I can't type as fast as I think.
Darn it! So
my fingers are slow. No.
So slow.
There's a Rocky Balboa quote which I really like, and let me see if I can pull up. It says, "It ain't about how hard you hit.
Okay.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. It's about how much you can take and keep moving forward." Right? Every now and then you land a lucky punch. Everybody gets lucky every once in a while, and it kind of gives you that energy you need. Because the next time you try to throw the punch, somebody's going to knock you down. But you're going to get back up. And the person may knock you down again. But you get back up. You don't stay on your butt. You don't stay on the ground. You stand back up and you keep moving forward and you learn from your mistakes. Just like Edison said, he didn't have 1,000 failures. It was 1,000 steps to get to the light bulb that worked.
And I like that twist on what, I mean, this is the half. This is the glass. The half. My goodness, I'm totally suffering right now. I cannot
for everybody that's just listening and they can't see us on YouTube, I'm putting my head down to the table because I know Jeanette's just gonna crush my analogy. But go ahead.
No, honestly, no. I'm not going to crush your analogy because earlier I said that the glass half full, you said it was full or empty, and I said, well, it's dirty water. Honestly, I like the fact that, honestly, that you're just all like optimistic. I think we need optimism out there.
I try to be like the angry old man.
And what is the angry old man?
I go to Starbucks and damn it, I'm going through the drive-thru. Damn it, you whippersnappers.
Optimism out there.
I go through the drive-thru and it's like, just give me my coffee. I don't need you to give me your name. I'm going through the drive-thru. Just give me my coffee. No, I didn't ask for a bagel with cream cheese or a croissant. Just give me a coffee, man. And I try to be this old man. They're probably like all like, this guy's a jerk. But in reality, it's like,
are you just trying to toughen them up?
It's like, you can do it.
So did you give the girl today at the drive-thru, when you were ordering your coffee, did you give her a lecture about her being so forceful?
I gave the girl at the bar this weekend.
Not the bar, talking about
the young lady at the bar. And I said,
oh gosh.
I said, you wouldn't have liked me as a young guy. She says, why not? I was like, I'm not the man I am now. I was... matter of fact, I told this to a friend of mine today. Or was it yesterday? And I said, because now in my life, I've gone through so many ups and downs. I'm more confident. I can see clearly. I know what I'm doing. And then my friend says, yeah, it was yesterday. My friend says, oh, so you're saying you're a pussy. I was like, that's exactly what I'm saying. When I was a kid, I was a pussy. And I was like, and it's taken me a long time to get to where I am now. I am confident. I'm sure of myself. I've had enough failures that I've had to pick myself up by the bootstraps and keep moving forward. And I told her, I said, I am a much confident man. And she was like, oh. I was like, yeah, girl, what's up?
And that wasn't even the analogy.
It just sounded cool. It just sounded cool.
I was like, no, I was talking about...
But bam!
You know, I don't even want to take that story away, honestly. I'm just
what's up? You and me, Dupree, where Owen Wilson's like, I'm throwing 7 different smokes at you. Bam, bam, bam. You just don't know what's coming.
I'm like, that wasn't what I was going to ask, but okay, you came up with that one, and, you know, and I think that is great. I think with age, I think there's confidence, and I think that, yeah. I honestly love my 40s. I love it.
Whoa, you're in your 40s? Whoa.
Shut up. You are too.
Yeah, Dupree. Owen Wilson, as Dupree says, I'm throwing 7 different kinds of smokes.
I kind of feel like you just like gave me extra information than I was asking for. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome.
You're
I was like, now
way much more than I needed.
Now I want to find that. It says 7 different kinds of smokes. You and me, Dupree, because you know Dupree was like this guy. He's just a man boy. He never grew up.
He's a man boy.
He is a man. Okay. Next topic for our next podcast.
Man boys.
Yes.
Oh, great.
I feel like
special
we could talk about that.
Man boys.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it. You know, we all grew up at different rates. We all grew up at different paces.
Oh, completely.
Different backgrounds. And I'm not saying that any one way to grow up is better than the other. But we're in a time in our life where there's different opportunities and there's different priorities. And do you remember that quote I said? God, I love this quote. Hard times make hard men.
Yes.
Hard men make better times. Better times make soft men. Soft men make bad times. And I thought about, I was thinking about this today.
Okay.
I was thinking about all the men right now, like in our this time frame right now. It's 2021.
Okay.
We're out of Iraq. We're out of Afghanistan. We've been in Afghanistan for 20 years. We were in Iraq for 15 years or something like that. So the world became a mess. We created a mess in the world. Not us, but the world kind of became a mess. Mm-hmm. And it created some hard times. The Twin Towers came down. Mm-hmm. We were united. We realized there's people that didn't like us. So we started sending young guys to war. And suddenly you had young men that might have been a little bit softer because of the way they're raised. Parents give them everything. I'm not saying anything bad about the kids. and we thrust them into bad situations where they have to like suddenly grow up and they have to see things that they probably would have never seen. Friends die, people blow up, IEDs. And suddenly you have a group of men over the last 15 years go through these hard times, and now they come out of it with a completely different perspective. You have guys that are physically, they're destroyed. They're going to need help the rest of their lives. You have guys with PTSD, shell shock, that they're going to have a hard time getting over the things they see.
Yeah.
You've had men that have had to stand up, help their friends out, try to help them survive and help them move forward. And now you've created a group of men now, some that will need help the rest of their lives, but some that are going to be the pillars of the community because they went through these hard times and they don't want people in the community to have to go through what they've done. So it's funny, as a result of the good times, we've created soft men, but the world got hard on us.
So you had to create tough men again.
We've created tough men again that are now amongst us. Our peers, people our age, younger than us, that have gone through such hard times that they're going to be the ones that are going to be driving the future based on these experiences.
I just kind of feel like there will always be war, honestly.
Oh, I do. But it's funny though.
I think there'll always be.
How many? So when guys go to war, Iraq, Afghanistan, Vietnam, Desert Storm, you have different, like, you always have your injured and your PTSD. That's going to happen. They're going to get out of war. They're going to need help the rest of their lives. You have some people that really take that experience and it just embeds itself in them. And suddenly, when they come back, their perspective on life is so different. And they hold everyone else around them accountable to bring them up to their level. So you create a new group of citizens that are they maintain these core values that kind of dip from time to time.
Yeah.
And then they come back and they bring these core values back up. And we go through soft times again. And then something terrible happens. And then you have these kids again that are thrusted in the battle. And they become the men again that really incorporate these values. Hard times make hard men. And so they come back and they really drive like the moral of our country. Does that make sense?
No, it does.
And I for some reason I was really thinking about that. I was like, how profound. You know, because I was thinking about that. Where does the cycle end? Hard times make hard men.
I don't think it ever does.
Well, I was just thinking about, I was like thinking, if hard times makes hard men, and hard men makes good times, and good times make soft men, then what happens? Because once you get to the soft men part, you're just on a perpetual downward spiral. Except you have things that come up where Afghanistan and Iraq, Vietnam,
something will always come up,
and where you have kids that are growing up in this soft phase, this soft generation, and suddenly they become the men that we need, our country needs, that's going to propel us forward, and they're going to do the right things, and they're going to hold us accountable. They're the hard men that come back.
Yeah.
It was just, I for some reason, it was just in my mind, and I was thinking about that whole thing.
Yeah.
You know?
That was pretty interesting. Well, because I don't know if the cycle will end. I just think that there will always be indifference.
It's kind of sad it won't.
Differences, indifference. There'll always be opinions. There'll always be.
What happens if there's like an alien invasion?
Oh, let's prepare for that next year.
An alien invasion. They come from another planet. They come here because they want our resources. That's why they would invade a planet, right? They would want the resources, the minerals, the water.
They just want to enslave us.
Enslave us, slave labor. And suddenly you have a planet with all these different countries, all these different languages, nationalities, religions. Everything that separates us would fade away because we are all bound by this common core of humanity wanting to survive and coming together, and we'd fight these aliens. You know what I mean?
But the war didn't end, and all of these soft humankind would become tough. I think that there's always going to be, people are always not going to accept others. I think there's always going to be
that'll always be there.
Totally.
But you know.
I mean, I know that our country's gone through some hard times, and I know that ultimately we want to, form a theme of acceptance.
Yeah.
And I think that we want to teach kids and we want to teach, because if anything,
Jeanette, be accepting.
I'm so accepting.
Be accepting.
But I think that there's always, people are afraid of things that are different.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that stems from. I think that sometimes people fear that.
Right.
Because I think that might come from insecurity, deep-rooted insecurity.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I mean, if I wanted to really go through that, maybe I should write a book.
Wow.
All right? No, but
wow.
I think that why do people fear the things that are different from
Can
them?
I just say, I think your book would be a female version of Tucker Max.
Oh, really? Do you think so?
Assholes finish first. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there.
What's a female version? What's a female word for asshole? I don't even want to go there.
I don't even want to go there. I think words would come back that I couldn't take back and be like, no.
This is not the Paco and Lola show.
Paco Lola. Oh my gosh. Make a plan. I think the root of today's conversation is you've got to make a plan. And it's like everything that we talk about kind of always ties in, but
it always ties into something. And honestly, it always ties in. We could go on a different path when we start to talk, but honestly, it really comes down to, I mean, we're talking about like what's the difference between being poor and being broke.
Right.
I mean, it really always, at the end of our conversation, I think it always ties into something. It ties into the same thing.
Right.
And we're talking about making a plan. We're talking about
still manifesting your ideas, still visualizing it, taking the next step, writing it down, making the plan, doing what it takes. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter.
And I think that probably throughout the next several podcasts, that theme is going to always come about, because I think our
listeners are going to be like, oh my God, this again, you guys move on. Yeah. Just get over it.
Then we'll talk about dating and manifesting.
Oh my God.
Manifesting.
Oh my God.
Manifesting your perfect date.
So
this is true. We're gonna have some special guests. Honestly, I think we should have some special guests.
I think it's gonna be fun talking about dating, but it's like I'm getting anxiety just thinking about it. It's like, oh my God.
But it's because people don't really know. I mean, people.
You're gonna do all the talking, and you're gonna ask me a question about dating, and I'm gonna sit here and be like, I can neither confirm or deny the allegations, Jeanette. That sounds plausible, but I'm unaware of a
situation on October 2nd.
Jeanette, when you say "is," what's the definition of "is"?
It's not interviewing presidents for like scandalous.
Speaking of which,
it's not going to be like that.
There's supposed to be a movie about Monica and Bill that I've got to see. That I read a clip on that it's supposed to sound pretty scandalous.
Oh yeah, that sounds amazing.
Something about him blowing his load or something. I'm like,
really?
I saw something about that. I was like, oh.
Was it on a blue dress?
A black dress, I think.
Black dress?
It's supposed to be on Netflix. I don't know what movie it is, but I kind of saw a preview about that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So watch that. Seriously, I would watch it.
Monica Lewinsky movie.
That is crazy. I think honestly we should have some special guests for the dating episode.
I don't know. I
don't know if you want even.
I thought it was on Netflix, but I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I'm not entirely sure. Monica Lewinsky movie, Netflix. It's called Impeachment. American Crime Story tells Monica Lewinsky.
Oh, American Crime Story. So it's like that show. They do different themes on that.
Really?
Yeah. Honestly, I've never watched it, but I've actually wanted to start watching it because they do like.
It sounded like you knew what you're talking about.
Of course. So confidently until I'm proven wrong.
Right, but there was something. There was something on that quote about that I was like, oh, this sounds.
This sounds scandalous.
Sounds scandalous. Mm. Yeah, I think this is it. Impeachment, an American Crime Story. How funny. Okay.
So what episode is that? Because this isn't just a movie. This is like a show, right? A series or.
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the deal. I have to figure out how I want to word this, but Bill Clinton, he had a junior staffer or something I don't know what Monica
Are you
Lewinsky's
trying
part.
to say he had an affair?
He got it on with her. He was an older man. He was attracted to her.
Mm-hmm.
She was attracted to a man in power.
Mm-hmm.
And they got it on.
Why are you struggling with the way? I mean, the way you're describing it seems pretty spot on.
Right.
Is your inner...
You know, there's rumors about JFK and Marilyn Monroe. You know, the whole happy birthday.
So, what do you think there's a pattern with women?
There's a lot of stories about a lot of presidents that may have had a friend that was the secretary, a staff member, and I don't think Bill Clinton was the first.
This is not brand new information.
Right.
So, you know, it's weird is that people get so intrigued the presidents cheat. But people cheat all the time. It's just, you know, this is a man in power.
Right. So I think the difference is you think about the president, the leader of the free world, and it's a person you want to hold accountable and that live life to a higher standard because they're leading the free world. And I don't know, maybe it's this whole idea that the person leading the free world isn't infallible, but they are just like you and me, and they're like, oh, hey little lady, how you doing?
And they're all like getting their how Stella got a group back on. I mean,
yeah.
And you know, the thing is, people don't realize what is the relationship between the president and his first lady. I mean, it's still a relationship. Is it there? Is it not there? Oh, this is still episode 15.
Right.
I know, but I mean, just because he is a man in power doesn't mean he's not human. It doesn't mean that there wasn't something going on there. We don't know.
Wow. George Washington, the first president of the United States.
Men cheat, so...
The first president, our founding father, was alleged to have fathered children with a slave named Venus. Ooh, her name was Venus. Who lived on his family's Virginia estate. Thomas Jefferson, the writer of the Constitution or the Bill of Rights. Jefferson was accused of fathering children with the slave Sally Hemings. And we're not going to talk about slavery. That's a different story.
But you're talking about men who have
Andrew Jackson. This one was actually well known. I actually knew this. Andrew Jackson came under fire for his marriage to Rachel Donaldson Robards because the two wed before she was legally divorced from her previous marriage. William Henry Harris, I've never heard of that guy, shortest tenured president in history. Harrison was believed to have possibly engaged in a relationship with one of his slaves, Dilcia. It just goes on. John Taylor, James Garfield, Grover Cleveland, Warren Harding, Franklin D. Roosevelt, my goodness, carried out a long time affair with his wife Eleanor's secretary Lucy Mercer. I want to say I knew that. Dwight Eisenhower, JFK, which we all know, Lyndon Johnson, they're George W. Bush, H.W. Bush. The first Bush president faced allegations of affair with two women, one being a White House staffer during his administration and another being a woman he allegedly carried out relationships with in the 1960s. I never knew that about Bush Sr. Bill Clinton, obviously we all know. George W. Bush, alleged of sexually assaulting a Texas woman who later committed suicide. Whoa,
that's something I didn't know.
And so I don't know when this list came out, but since George W., there's been Obama, there's been Trump, and now Biden. Am I missing anybody since George W. Bush? Interesting. There's a lot of big names on that list of presidents.
So you want to watch this American, was it Crime Story or?
No, I don't want. I don't want it to tarnish my image of the POTUS, of the President of the United States.
Oh, you're a dreamer.
My cup, my half full cup suddenly went from being bubbly champagne, beautiful, to being
water.
A little bit dirty. Maybe the cup's dirty. A dirty cup.
A dirty cup.
Dirty cup. William Henry Harrison, how could you do this, bro?
Oh, man.
I'm upset.
Damn it, bro.
I'm upset. You know what I mean? I expected James Garfield too, but not Grover Cleveland.
Damn Grover.
Grover with those big old mustaches that they had back then. How could a woman say no? It's like, ooh, is that a real mustache? Why, yes, it is. Do you want to touch?
Oh my goodness.
Ugh.
Who knows what turned women on back then?
Styles were different back then. That's a whole different.
Was it power?
Well, I'm sure power attracts everybody all the time. I think it does. But again, going back to what we were saying about, you don't want to think about that about the president of the United States because he's the leader of the free country.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of interesting. So that'll have to be a different conversation about the illicit affairs of these powerful men.
Oh, that would actually be a really good one.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh my gosh. You're already taking out the Scotch.
Is that the Scotch? Is that the Scotch? I mean, what is that? Wow.
I feel like we're just reading a Harlequin novel about
I know,
president
right?
affairs. That's crazy.
We should have a legit conspiracy podcast one day, like Skull and Bones and the Illuminati and the Bilderberg, but actually have our facts ahead of time.
Or you know what? That's actually homework, which I'm willing to do.
Oh, Jeanette. Okay, you know the moral of today's story is:
all right,
make a plan.
Yes, I think so.
Visualize what you want. Visualize it, manifest it, write it on a piece of paper. Words have power. I remember saying that before. Words have power. You need to say it, you need to write it, and then you need to do it. Because it's not enough to visualize it and try to manifest it, but you have to do your part. Whether you call it God or the universe, they're pulling for you, but you also have to do the work.
You have to do the work. You can't just think it's going to work itself out magically. You have to commit and do the work. I totally agree.
You have to write your goals, and they have to be visual, and you have to revisit those goals often. Open up your journal or the whiteboard you're writing on, and look at them and be like, what did I do to get one step closer to that? What did I do? Don't you think?
Like it. No, I absolutely agree.
Oh man, I hate having
allergies.
I hate having allergies while we do this because it's like blowing my nose every 5 minutes. That's just no fun.
Well,
yeah.
I think that
that's a good place.
The ice is totally, and I think that the ice is gone, and I really think that is our timer.
It's my Scotch glass is empty, so you know what that means.
I think it's time to go. Don't choke on the ice.
Choking on the ice.
Okay.
That pig's nose Scotch is amazing. 2 thumbs way up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those were side thumbs, so I'm totally thinking that those
were
amazing.
I was making some fond thumbs. Hey. So they're not 2 thumbs way up. I gave 2 fawns thumbs.
Okay.
Hey.
I can't even say it felt like
it was legit. It was legit.
Okay.
All right.
Well, friend,
it was fun. It was good. It was a good place. All right. Well, dude, see you next time. We'll get some new Scotch. We'll see what we do next time. Thanks for joining us. And
episode 15, dating story.
Oh gosh. Yeah, maybe
we put it out there earlier on. We have to do it.
Oh god, I'm ready to get. We'll have a conspiracy story before that, but you know what? Kind of keeping along the positive lines. You can make things happen. Do the legwork. You know what? Make your goals and stick to it. And it's never too young, and it's never too late.
Never too late.
It's never too late. How old you are, if you're willing to to do the work and do what it takes. This is the American dream.
And all right, I'm gonna buy into it. I love it. Okay.
Man.
All
right, dude. Jeanette, cheers, friend.
Cheers, salud, man.
Yeah. Good every night. That's a wrap.
That was
it's a wrap.
strong.
See, that's falling off the chair.
I kind